Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live discussion where we are going to be talking about the Argentina national team. We are about 2 months away from the World Cup, and Coach Lionel Scaloni has, released a new list, officially announced. It's not the preliminary one, it's the official one. Obviously, we have Lionel Messi, we definitely have Paulo DYBALA, but we also have Enzo Perez of Benfica, Thiago Almada of Atlanta United, and I see already some people in the chat. So welcome everybody. If you're in the chat, let me know. Let me know where you're from. We always do this, and we always get worldwide chat users all across Europe, all across North America, all across Asia, East Asia, Africa, Australia, everywhere. So welcome everybody. And I already see some comments here. So Ramis Munir asking a very, very good question. And we're going to get to that. We're going to answer it in just a second as well. And George P. Leva as well. Hey, thank you, buddy. Thank you for joining, George. And we're going to talk all about it. We are going to talk all about it. Anthony Garcia, welcome, buddy. Hey, Chavines, dude, long time. Thanks for joining, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Very much appreciate it. Hello, Yusuf. We are live on YouTube, live on Facebook. The link is up on all the social media platforms, and we are going to talk about it all. So Argentina have 2 games in the United States. The first one against Honduras on September 23rd in Miami at the Hard Rock Stadium. The second one at the Red Bull Arena in New Jersey. So not at MetLife, in New Jersey at the Red Bull Arena. And that one against Jamaica. So let's get to the comments, see where everyone is. I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Thanks for joining. Much appreciated. XM, hello. Thomas Garcia, hey, it's Fernandez. Did I say Perez? Did I say Enzo Perez? I'm so excited. I must have said Enzo Perez. It's Enzo Fernandez of Benfica, although Enzo Perez did play for Benfica as well. Mike, hey, long time, Mike. How's it going, buddy? From Stony Creek, Ontario. Vamos. And we got, I'm going to try and pronounce this as well as I can. Korziniets from Louisiana. Welcome. West Ham Cliffs. Hello. Hey, buddy. How's it going? Janet, thank you for joining, Janet. So thanks for all the videos and posts on Twitter. Thank you for joining us, and thanks for the support. Yusuf, let's do it. Ryan, hello. All right, so we got a big crowd here. A big crowd. So if you missed it, Argentina coach Lionel Scaloni, he announced his list for those 2 matches, and let's get to it. So we're going to talk about who made the list. We're going to talk about who's not on the list, because this has certainly given us some sort of indication as to who Lionel Scaloni prefers for the World Cup in terms of the goalkeepers, in terms of the defenders as well, and the midfielders. That remains to be seen. So let's get to it. I'm going to bring up the list in just a second. Mike Mikides, hey buddy, how's it going? And sending positive vibes all the way from Texas. All right, nice. I like that. So let me just put this up here, and let's get things started. So let's take a look at the list. Bring it up right now. Here we go. Boom, perfect. So let's do that. So this is the list right here. I'll get rid of my face there for just a second. So the list, we have the goalkeepers: Franco Armani, Emiliano Martinez, Geronimo Rulli. So only 3 goalkeepers. No Juan Musso there. So the man from Atalanta, not selected. So Rulli preferred over Juan Musso. That is a big one for the 3rd spot. The back line, we have Gonzalo Montiel, Nahuel Molina, Germán Pasella, Christian Cuti Romero of Tottenham Hotspur, Nehuen Perez, Lisandro Martinez of Manchester United, Nicolas Otamendi, Marcos Acuna, Facundo Medina of Lens in France, and Nicolas Tagliafico of Lyon. So we're going to talk a little bit about that one as well. Some interesting names in there. In midfield, Leandro Paredes, who just completely ripped it up for Juventus in the Champions League. If you missed it, did very, very well for them in their loss against Benfica. Guido Rodriguez, an unsung hero for me, of Betis. Enzo Fernandez, absolutely deserved inclusion there. Alexis McAllister of Brighton. Rodrigo De Paul of Atletico Madrid. Giovanni Lo Celso of Villarreal, Alejandro Papu Gomez of Sevilla, and Thiago Almada of Atlanta United of the MLS, and he is one we are certainly going to talk about. And then we have 7 forwards, so Paulo DYBALA, Pablito is back in the squad, Angel Di Maria, Lionel Messi, Julian Alvarez, Joaquin Correa, Angel Correa, and Lautaro Martinez. So very quickly, what does everybody think of the list? Initially, were you disappointed with this list? Were you happy about this list? Were there some names that you were maybe hoping to see or expecting to see that did not quite make the cut? Let me know. Let me take a look at the comments here. So let's see what everyone is. What everyone has to say here. All right. So Zlatan all the way from New Mexico, Las Cruces. All right. So let's do it. Enzo's looking good. So Thomas says, Enzo's looking good at Benfica. Amazing adaptation so far. I don't think there was, or there could have been a better club for Enzo to join. Argentinians absolutely flourish at Benfica. Even Claudio Caniggia all those years ago played for Benfica and played very well. So very, very good for him. And it's going to be tight for him to make the World Cup. I think he's going to make that list for Qatar. Abul Qasim, I get that Armani deserves respect, but Musso is in good form. He absolutely is in very good form, Juan Musso, and Geronimo Rulli as well of Villarreal. And I'm going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Armani, probably the not, the least best in form, let's say, out of the goalkeepers, but it's Franco Armani. He has the experience, and I don't think Scaloni is going to change the dynamics when it comes to the goalkeepers. Not that close to the World Cup. And Ryan, this is a question I'm going to get to in just a second as well. So Mickey D's, no, DYBALA was included, and by back in the squad, I just mean like once more he's in the squad. So since the Finalissima against Italy back in June and against Estonia as well, DYBALA's continuously found himself in the squad, which is a very good thing to see because he is just absolutely in incredible form. Scored again in the Europa League, this time coming off as a substitute, and in seconds scored a great goal for Roma. That one is on the website. You can check it out, mundoalbiceleste.com. Enzo's a great call. He's in great form, man. He's in great form. I cannot wait to play with him in FIFA, in the upcoming FIFA 23. We're going to do a little series on the Mundo Albiceleste channel, maybe with Foot. If you guys play Ultimate Team, we'll figure something out. But he's definitely one I can't wait to try out. So, Miguel, would Enzo replace Lo Celso? I could absolutely see Enzo Fernandez being a substitute for Lo Celso. I don't think Scaloni will tinker much with the starting 11, or at least in the midfield. So close to the World Cup, especially when you consider that Lo Celso is arguably in better form than Paredes and De Paul. De Paul not playing too often for Atletico Madrid, and when he does, he's playing well. Don't get me wrong, but it's not a continuous type of thing. Paredes played great for Juventus, but Lo Celso has been very consistent in his performances since joining Villarreal again. So let's see. I could absolutely see Enzo though becoming a substitute for Lo Celso, and that's one of the things we're going to talk about, because we have Enzo Fernandez, we have Alexis McAllister, we have Ezequiel Palacios, the man for Bayer Leverkusen, and he is not even in the squad. Now, he's not in the squad due to injury, and he's on the fringes of making that list for the World Cup. But we're going to get to that in just a second. From Tamil Nadu, Salim, hello, buddy. How's it going? We have a comment. Gonzalo Montiel tiene que estar. So Montiel should be there, or deserves to be there, or has to be there. It all depends on what way you want to spin it. I mean, if you want to say Montiel has to be there, maybe, but at the same time, he's not playing much for Sevilla, very little actually. So he's not in the best of forms right now. Would I take him to the World Cup? I absolutely would. But would he be my starter? Probably not. Saludos. All right. Let's get to another one. Aaron Lee. Roy, I'm very excited to see so many Argentine players playing good across Europe. That makes two of us. Enzo, DYBALA, Alvarez, Lautaro, all performing great. So many great bench players too. This team has hit its form, has found its stride, in my opinion, at the right time. And we're only adding. I mean, DYBALA if you take DYBALA this year, compare him to last year, it's night and day. Enzo Fernandez had a very, very good season for River Plate. The only thing for him was that he was, the talk was all about Alvarez. It was all about Julian Alvarez, and rightfully so. Don't get me wrong. Alvarez deserved all the praise that he got. But Enzo was not quietly at all, but he was having a great season for River Plate. No one was talking about him because he was overshadowed by Alvarez. But if I'm not mistaken, I tweeted this out. I said Enzo Fernandez is going to be just as big of a star, if not bigger, than Alvarez, and he's showing that very, very quickly. And that's not a knock on Alvarez by any means, because I truly think Alvarez is, him and Lautaro are the two best talented or most talented strikers to come out of Argentina since Agüero all those years ago. And there's been a lot of strikers that have put on the sky blue and white shirt. West Ham clips, hopefully having a new manager will not affect McAllister's performance. That's another one as well. So they lost their coach. He's over at Chelsea right now. How's that going to affect McAllister? Hopefully not at all. He's been in great, great form. He's like, even goals aside, he's been playing very, very well, and a proper, well-deserved call-up for him. And that's exactly my sentiments as well. I truly feel like Argentina's midfield, it's just gone up a notch. It's just gone up to another level right there. All right. And McAllister as a 6 looks interesting. Good rotation for Paredes. And that's going to be another one as well. I mean, when Lo Celso was not there for Argentina because of the suspension, McAllister was there. And, what's it going to be? Is it going to be McAllister? Is it going to be Enzo Fernandez? Is it going to be Lo Celso? If it's Paredes, who's going to be his substitute? Is it going to be Guido Rodriguez? Is it going to be Enzo Fernandez? Who's it going to be? There are so many options. And let's not forget, I mean, Palacios on the sideline. Thiago Almada, he might not make the World Cup. I don't expect him to. But still, another one for after the World Cup as well. And in terms of the back line, Nehuan Perez doing very well for Udinese. I agree. He's quietly performing very well. He's not as big of a name, obviously, as a Christian Romero, of a Nicolas Otamendi, of a Lisandro Martinez, but he's a good substitute. He's a good substitute. And it's very telling as well that Marcos Senesi, remember Marcos Senesi? Everyone was talking about him a year ago. Everyone was talking about him 5 months ago. He was going to be called up for Italy. He refused that call up, turned it down, said, I want to play for Argentina, got called up, played against Estonia, made his debut, went to the Premier League, not playing with a club that's doing very, very well right now in Bournemouth, and he did not even make the preliminary list. Marcos Senesi not even part of the preliminary list. Nehuan Perez part of the preliminary, part of the final team. So that's very telling as well. Very telling as well. Angel Correa, no. Angelito is there. Angel Correa is there. He's in the list. George, yes, he is. Lionel Messi is included in the list, obviously. So Messi is there. I absolutely agree with this comment. I love this comment. I tweeted about Correa a couple of days ago. In my opinion, and I know, and we're going to talk about DYBALA as well in just a second, but I know people always talk about how DYBALA should be included for the World Cup, and I don't disagree. I fully agree. But in my opinion, Angel Correa is just as important, or can be just as important for Argentina than DYBALA. He's extremely versatile, a great dribbler, has a very good eye for goal, can come on as a substitute and have that impact, make that difference. The same way DYBALA did today for Roma. Correa can and has done it for Atletico Madrid. For whatever reason, Simeone maybe doesn't seem to trust him. I don't know if it's the price tag that was put on João Felix. I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's something else. But Correa, criminally underrated. That I fully agree. And getting to Juan Foyth, I'm going to talk about the Villarreal guys. I'm going to talk about Jerónimo Rulli, and I'm going to talk about Juan Foyth. Foyth is not there because of injury. In all likelihood, he would have been included in the team had he not been injured. In all likelihood, would certainly be included. And the deserved call-up, it would have been as well, because he was in very good form for Villarreal, has been for over a year now. So that I'm not disputing. My only issue with Juan Foyth is the same issue I have with Rulli, and that's the fact that they can be playing extremely well extremely well, and they'll look absolutely world class and the best in their position, but they're prone, unfortunately, and this is not a knock. This is just my observation. And guys, please let me know in the chat if you agree. They'll be playing well, and then they'll get one match where it's a major lapse in concentration or lapses in concentration, and ultimately it's going to be catastrophic. We've seen it several times with Foyth. We've seen it on more than one occasion with Geronimo Rulli as well. And those are my qualms. That's what I'm worried about when it comes to those two. Because the talent's there, they'll play well, but you kind of never know when that misstep is going to happen, when that mistake is going to happen. Let's continue. But let me know, what does everybody think? Am I right in thinking that? Am I the only one in thinking that in regards to Foyth and Rulli? Let me know. I'm just gonna have a sip here, and we'll keep it going. We'll keep it going. All right. Let's continue here. So Thomas, I think Palacios and Fernandez are competing for the same spot. I think to a certain degree they are. To a certain degree, I think Fernandez could fight on multiple fronts. I think he can fight for Lo Celso's spot. I think he can fight for Paredes' spot. Enzo for Benfica has played deeper than when he was at River Plate. At River Plate, maybe a bit more advanced role. At Benfica, from the matches I've watched, and I'm not saying it's every match, but the matches that I've watched, he's played a deeper role for Benfica. So he can play that deeper role. He's shown it, and can also play a more advanced role like a Lo Celso. So I think he could be fighting for them. Yeah, I think he absolutely could be fighting. Let's look at the comments here. Let's take a look. And all right, hey, George is going to be at the game against Jamaica. Perfect. Now, in regards to Correa, personally, we'll take Angel Correa over Tuco. Joaquin finds himself in the team. He scored for Inter a couple of days ago. So, you know, he's versatile. I understand why he's included. I think he's a good player. He just needs to be a bit more clinical, a bit sharper in front of goal. Let's take this. All right. So Foyth should be taken if Montiel is underperforming. Now, that's the thing as well. I mean, Montiel has consistently been called up to the national team, hasn't always played. Molina's kind of been that number one there in that right back position for Argentina. If Montiel is not playing, I don't know if Scaloni would drop him. He hasn't dropped him yet, although Scaloni's shown in the past that he's not afraid of dropping players that are either A, out of form, or B, not playing for their clubs. The biggest name, Paulo DYBALA. Scaloni had no problems dropping him for the Copa America last year, had no problems dropping him for some of the qualifiers as well. So he's shown in the past that he absolutely would drop a player. Now, Anthony agrees with me in regards to Foyth and Rulli. Same feeling as well. I thought they were over it, and specifically Rulli, I thought he was over it. But then, you know, those two matches against Liverpool in the Champions League, those semifinals, I don't know if it was nerves. I don't know what it was, but it was back there. It was back there as well. So I guess I'm not the only one. Nice kits. Thank you. So this is I put up a video about this. It's on YouTube, but this is the Maradona inspired kit from 86 to home. This is the Maradona 86, and this is the Napoli 86-87 Maradona kit as well. You can get those off Evangelista Sports. It's all in the video. Check it out. Definitely worth buying as well. How can we forget Montiel versus Brazil? Montiel played great against Brazil. Incredible. He shut down Neymar. He shut down Richarlison. He shut down Gabigol. He was great. I like Montiel. I have nothing against Montiel. I hope, and I was very excited when he joined Sevilla. Very happy, but he's just not playing, and that's what I'm worried about in regards to him. Now, in regards to Scaloni, we got to put our faith in him. I do. I fully trust Scaloni. No reason not to. Has not failed us so far, and knock on wood, he does not fail us at all. So, you know, that's for Scaloni. Continuing on with the chat. All right. Let's see. Correa. Well, one Correa over the other. Sorry, one Angel Correa over Joaquin Correa. So Miguel Oof, center back pairing. I'm going to throw that back to everybody else. I'm throwing this back to everybody else. What would be your center back pairing? What would be your center back pairing? I'll give you guys a couple of moments here to think about it. But would you go with the likes of Licha and Kuti? Would you go with Otamendi and Kuti, Otamendi and Licha? Now, I know, we all have our favorites, right? Kuti Romero is a fan favorite. Otamendi has his fans as well, has his fan base. Lisandro Martinez, one of the better players, one of the best players for Manchester United this season. So, you can make a case, you can argue and make your case for any one of them. For any one of them. I don't disagree, and I would not disagree. But throwing it back to everybody here, what would be your starting center back pairing? Right. So let's take a look what everyone says. All right. So Kuti's constant, and Licha and Otamendi are taking turns. That's true. Yeah, consistent. Anthony, Kuti and Otamendi for the World Cup, and after the World Cup, Kuti and Licha. And I think that's what we're gonna get. I really think we're gonna get Nicolas Otamendi and Christian Romero for the World Cup. Now, this is something that we've spoken about in the past. At a World Cup, fortunately, unfortunately, you're bound to get injuries. You're bound to get suspensions. That third match in the group, if you've already qualified, it's probably going to be your B team. So they're all I think all three of them will get a chance to play. I have no doubt about it. And, I say this tongue in cheek, but knowing Nicolas Otamendi, he's probably going to be on the verge of a red card at one point just because of his physicality. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do get Lisandro Martinez playing at one point. But I do agree. I think after the World Cup, Otamendi will be stepping aside. Abul Qasim, Otamendi and Romero, great partnership, and the former is a beast in the air. I think they're both beasts in the air, but Otamendi definitely is. Definitely is. And in the future, Lisandro Martinez. I like this now. Otamendi's been behaving with Argentina for the most part. Look, I love Otamendi. And you can go back in the archives, it's on YouTube. I was defending Otamendi from day one on the YouTube channel. Whenever people would talk about Otamendi and say, no, he's going to get red carded, he's going to do, he would get called names. I said, look, he's playing well. He hasn't put a foot wrong, and he has not put a foot wrong. He's been behaving for the most part. The only instant where I remember Otamendi not behaving or kind of misbehaving, and I don't blame him, it was Argentina versus Brazil, the qualifier in Argentina, not the one in Brazil, but in Argentina, late last year. He had a tackle, if I'm not mistaken, or an elbow. I believe it was on Rafinha. And that's the only instance. That's the only instance as well. So he has been behaving. He's been behaving. George, the great thing is that it seems that no matter who plays, they all feel the responsibility to perform. And that's a very good thing. And that's something that Scaloni has spoken about in the past. He said, he said this before. We have a team. We have a squad. If one player is down, the other one's going to step in as if nothing happened. You know what I mean? And that's good. We saw it at the Copa America. When Molina wasn't there, who played? It was Montiel. When Paredes wasn't there, who played? It was Guido. We've seen it in the qualifiers when Otamendi was rested or Romero was injured, for example. Lisandro Martinez stepped in. Man of the match. Go watch Lisandro Martinez's last couple of matches for Argentina. It's been incredible. He has been incredible. And he's been playing well. Yes, I agreed for this as well. Otamendi played very well, or has been playing very well for Benfica, and played very, very well for them against Juventus in the Champions League. He had one or two tackles where he was just getting run at and performed very, very well. And I see a question regarding Rodrigo de Paul, and we'll get to that in just a second. Then we'll talk about the goalkeepers. DYBALA, Almada, let's get to it. Just a couple of seconds here. So in regards to Rodrigo de Paul, there was a question in terms of what's going on with him, and de Paul appears to have some issues off the pitch, marital issues or personal issues, his love life, so to speak. And Nehemias Emmanuel Wagner mentioned it. It's women, not women, issues off the pitch in regards to to the ladies, quite simply. And I think a lot of that is the media as well. The media loves to stir up controversy, which is part of the reason why, if you guys follow me on Twitter, or if you follow Mundo Albiceleste, I don't tweet about his personal life. I very rarely tweet about the personal lives of players. There's no point creating drama. There's no point putting that out there, and so that's the issue with DePaul there. So let's get to the goalkeepers. Juan Musso, Geronimo Rulli. Who do you guys prefer? Who would you pick? If you had to pick between those two, who would you pick? Let me know in the comments right here. Let me know in the chat. Who would you pick between those two? And in the meantime, I'll take a look at the chat. So in regards to DePaul, there you go. I don't like to talk about his personal life. But West Ham clips. There's only half of the places up for grabs in the team. Not many of the top nations are as well prepared as Argentina right now. There are not that many teams that have the depth in quality that Argentina have. And I truly mean that. Brazil have depth. There's no doubt about it, especially up front, especially the wingers. They have depth. You're talking about Neymar, you're talking about Gabigol, you're talking about Rafinha. Even Richarlison, when he plays for Brazil, he plays well. He has that hunger, so to speak. Spain, very deep. Spain are very, very deep and looking good. Looking very good. France as well, obviously, but France have their own issues, and France has that World Cup curse to deal with, like that Champions curse. But enough of that. Enough about the other teams. This is Mundo Albiceleste. This is Argentina. Let's get to the comments here. Anthony, my one concern is that Armani is considered as the second choice goalkeeper. He should be at the very most a third choice. I agree with that. I think if something, God forbid, something happens to Dibu, I don't know if Armani, I presently see Armani as the second choice goalkeeper. I just don't know if push comes to shove, I don't know if Scaloni would pick Armani over Rulli or pick Armani over Musso. I don't know if in a high-profile match, Scaloni would do that. So while on paper, I think Armani is the second choice, I don't know if in reality he actually is. That's the one thing I'm unsure about. So I do agree with that. In regards to Musso or Rulli, Musso, we got one for Musso. Kazi says, I wouldn't pick Armani. Juan Musso never trusted Rulli. If we're being very honest, I'm the same. I'm the same. I haven't trusted him since 2016, since the Olympics. Not to be negative, because I like him. He seems like a very nice guy. And, if you go back and you watch his clips back when he was still playing in Argentina, he's solid. Something happened. I think it's a mental thing. I really think it's a mental thing. But maybe it's just a couple of us. Oh, Demonish, Rulli over Musso. Anthony, Musso over Rulli. Mauricio Silva, Enzo Fernandez, absolutely. Yeah, Brazil do have a lot of depth. And regards to the fullbacks, look, ironically enough, Brazil, historically speaking, had great fullbacks. Now, not the same, right? Not the same. And granted, whoever was going to fill in for Dani Alves had some big shoes to fill, right? Let's be honest. And that is very true. No team probably has the chemistry that we do. That I fully agree with. And George, Armani's movement is awkward. His footwork is horrendous. I saw him in training sessions moving like I do when I wake up in the morning with achy joints. Oh, that's a good one. George. Yes, that 2006 World Cup. Roberto Abbondanzieri, Pato, right? That knee to the ribs. He got substituted. Leo Franco came in. And we all know what happened there. MD says, I think Rulli is a good choice second goalkeeper. Alfredo Reyes asks, why not Armani? Right? So why not Armani as second choice? Why not Armani asks, well, I don't think he's at the same level as maybe Juan Musso or Rulli right now. I'm not saying he's a bad goalkeeper. I'm just saying I don't think he's at the same level as them. And there's another one. Yes, Rossi as well. And I spoke about Rossi on Twitter. I think after the World Cup, Rossi will be the goalkeeper selected from Argentina. So I don't think Armani gets selected anymore after the World Cup. I think the goalkeeper from Argentina will be Rossi from Boca Juniors. He's good at penalty kicks, the same way Dibu is. And he's a solid goalkeeper as well. He's a solid goalkeeper. West Ham characters like Armani are very important to have around, even if he's not playing. Look, he's been in the squad since 2018. He made his debut at the World Cup in 2018. He's had a great career, historically speaking, won several Copa Libertadores. Even before River Plate, he won a Libertadores. He's a good goalkeeper. He's just up there in age, I think, and just not in great form. But the boys seem to like him. The guys seem to like him, and they're all friends. And he stepped in when the team needed him. Let's not forget that. In Russia in 2018, when Willy Caballero was not playing well, he was thrown to the wolves. Armani was thrown to the wolves. Against, I believe it was Paraguay in 2019 at the Copa America, he made a big save, a penalty kick save. That got Argentina the point. If Argentina don't get the point there, they probably don't make it out of the group stage in 2019. So he's had an impact on the national team. It's just a lot of people love to talk about his current form and sometimes forget maybe what he contributed in the past. So let's exactly paso a paso a otra. There you go. All right, so Arjunan, Dibu, Musso, and Rulli over Armani. Maybe a good shot stopper, but he doesn't have the experience in European football because you have to face Germany, Spain, the Netherlands, France. That's what I fear. Look, it's a valid point. It's a valid issue. I think talent is talent regardless. I spoke about this when talking about Thiago Almada, and people were saying, well, he plays in the MLS. He does, but if you're talented, you are talented, and you can certainly pull it off. Now, I think ultimately it's going to come down to it's going to be Dibu, Franco Armani, and it's going to be one of Musso or Rulli. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I would have thought Scaloni would have picked all four, but I mean, 3 so far. We got 2 matches, potentially 1 in November, set to be either against Egypt or the United Arab Emirates, the UAE. That one is set to be played in Abu Dhabi. And in all likelihood, the team selected for that will be the team for the World Cup. All right. Let's get to Lisandro Martinez. So Lisandro Martinez over Pesela, and that's another one. If we go through the list here for this, where I just had it open, let's go back to the list here. If we go back, where was it? Here we go. Let's do this, and let's go. I mean, Paulo DYBALA just scored, and if we go here, let's do this. All right. So if we take a look at this list here, and we have, I mean, if we look at the defenders, right? Lisandro Martinez over Pesela. If we take a look, no Marcos Senesi, and we spoke about that, right? So we said no Marcos Senesi there, but if we look at it, I mean, Lisandro's there, Nahuel Perez is there, Facundo Medina's there, sorry. So in actuality, I think it's going to come down to a lot more than just, Licha over Pesela. Now it's gotten to the point where what's going to be our backup pairing? I really think it's going to be that. What's going to be our backup pairing? Because it's been a couple of call-ups now where Medina has been called up to the team. Now, he hasn't really played. He's been called up. Nahuel Perez of Udinese, like we said, having a good season. He's been called up again. Are Pesela and, for example, Lucas Martinez, Cuarta, have they lost their places in the team? Martinez, Cuarta, not even part of the squad. Pesela, good on his day. Is he as good as, some of the players that we just mentioned, for example? So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens there. So let's take a look. So Kazi asks, right, we don't have space for any playmaker in the team. When there's Messi, we need a box-to-box and wingers. I mean, look, you want a box-to-box? Rodrigo De Paul can play that box-to-box. Obviously, that's another one. And in terms of wingers, I mean, Di Maria, Nicolas Gonzalez, one winger that is not on the team, Lucas Ocampos. Lucas Ocampos now at Ajax, not part of the team. And it's crazy because up until the Copa America last year, he was called up to the team. He was playing very well, and that his form kind of dipped, and he hasn't really been selected too much for Argentina. All right, George. All the insults, comparisons, and criticisms that Argentina has consistently been subject to from Mexican media, we have it recorded in our minds. I'm predicting 11-0 in that match. Hey, I would not say no to that. I would not say no to that. Anthony, I think Scaloni is preparing life after the World Cup, replacing Otamendi and Pasella with the likes of Perez and Medina. It could be the case. It could be the case, and it's something to keep an eye out when it comes to the World Cup or the list specifically in terms of, does Pasella get called up, or do we get the likes of a Medina and a Perez? Now, it's easy to forget, Pasella maybe never really was a world-class player for Argentina, but let's not forget the tackle that he put in, the block that he put in that Copa America final. I believe it was against Gabigol. He came in as a substitute, major block, and he's gotten some chances since that Copa America final, and he's played pretty well for the most part, and he's had a good season for Betis. Germán Pasella and Guido Rodriguez have played well for Betis this season, quietly having good seasons, the both of them. So is Pasella going to get selected for the World Cup, or is it going to be someone else? We'll see. Only time will tell. Let's take a look. So Alfredo Ocampos got injured. Yeah, Ocampos got injured, was not selected for the Copa America. But even before that, I mean, he was selected for the two qualifiers, did not play too well in those matches. And after the Copa America, he had some struggles with injuries. He was not always 100% fit. But he's no longer part of this team, unfortunately. Hopefully he does well with Ajax. Hopefully he's able to turn his season around, and who knows, maybe even make that World Cup list. No, Scaloni has not extended his contract yet. There were talks about him potentially sitting down with the EFA and discussing everything before the World Cup. It looks as if that's not going to happen until after the World Cup. This is a good one. Aaron Lee, strictly based on performances so far, what would be your starting 11? I'm going to let you guys answer that. What would be your starting 11? Let's say World Cup started right now. You have to pick 11 players to represent Argentina based on what you see this season. Who would you pick? So let's take a look what everybody says. Give you guys a second there. DYBALA needs to be absolutely. We've spoken about DYBALA. I've spoken about DYBALA several times. I love the guy. I think he's a great player. Seems like genuinely a very nice guy too. And I'm very happy for him. Very happy for him. When he signed with Roma, I remember tweeting about it and talking about it, just saying, I'm happy. He's playing under a coach that, historically speaking, does well with Argentine players. And he's given that confidence. Mourinho knows how to get the best of his players. He knows how to get the best out of them. And he's done that so far with DYBALA. He's in form. Yeah, Higuain's had a pretty good season, but I think his time is done with with the national team. All right, so Argentina really need a pacey winger on the left. Nico's the only one with real pace, which is worrying for Argentina. I mean, Di Maria still has the pace. Di Maria obviously is older in age, but he's not slow by any means at all. Not slow at all. But in terms of the starting 11s, let's see. So Korzeniec writes Dibu, Molina, Cuti, Otamendi, Nicolas. Nico. Paredes, Lo Celso, De Paul, Di Maria, Messi, Lautaro. I'm inclined to go with that. Either Nicolas Tagliafico or Marcos Acuna. I would be happy with that. Anthony, I think the same thing, but Acuna in place of Tagliafico. So same thing. Dibu, Molina, Cuti, Romero, Otamendi, Acuna, De Paul, Paredes, Lo Celso, Di Maria, Messi, and Lautaro. So pretty much the same as Korzeniec. The only difference is Acuna for Tagliafico. So let's keep them coming. What do you guys think, or what would be your preferred starting 11 there? And Nicolas Tagliafico always. I think we maybe have I don't know, an Independiente fan, I'm not sure. But look, Tagliafico played well for Argentina in his last two matches, so you cannot doubt him. Alfredo, Dibu, Molina, Cuti, Otamendi, Acuna, De Paul, Paredes, Lo Celso, Di Maria, Messi, Lautaro. Same thing. And I agree. I would agree with that. I have no problem with Tagliafico or Acuna. Sidikur, Emi, Acuna, Lisandro, Cuti, Molina, Lo Celso, Paredes, De Paul, Di Maria, Lautaro, and Messi. So it appears to be a recurring theme here. My bad. My mistake. So Boca Juniors fans, there you go. All right, I could respect that. And Tagliafico over Acuna. Now, this is true, we are basing this off of form as well. And Tagliafico, from what I've seen since he joined Lyon, I've caught maybe 2 of their matches so far this season. From what I've seen of Tagliafico, he's done well. He had a rocky start, I believe, in one of the matches that I remember watching. But other than that, he's been pretty solid for them. He's absolutely been pretty solid for Lyon. Right, let's drink this. And then I want to talk about one player in particular. So one player I want to get to, and this is one that, maybe not the most popular player right now, but, and this might be controversial, but for me, it's one for the future. Thiago Almada. Now, Thiago Almada, I know a lot of people are saying, well, he plays in the MLS. That's true. That is true. And, if you want to say the MLS is not at the same level as maybe other leagues, other top leagues, I would agree with that. I'm not saying the MLS is the best league in the world. However, in my opinion, I don't see anything wrong in calling him up. I spoke about this in the preliminary list video, but Thiago Almada plays in the United States. Thiago Almada is based in Atlanta, Georgia. Argentina will be based in Miami, Florida, not far from Atlanta, right? I mean, geographically speaking, not too far from Atlanta. They're going to be playing in New York as well. So they're still going to be kind of like, the East Coast. And if Scaloni is thinking about the future, why not take Almada? Palacios is injured, so you cannot take him. You already have everybody else in terms of McAllister and your regular midfield and Enzo Fernandez. So take Thiago Almada, have him train with the senior team. If he gets to play 20 minutes in one of the matches, sure, why not? You could see it. You could see how he does. You get to see how he does in training as well. So I'm not against having Thiago Almada there. It gives you another option in midfield for the future. I'm not saying I want Almada at the World Cup. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't think it's a bad idea, in particular, to have Almada. And he's still very young as well. Still very, very young as well. Continuing on, Alfredo says Tagliafico has been more consistent than Acuna for years. I mean, Acuna has been pretty solid for Sevilla for a while, although Tagliafico for a good 3 years or so was very good at Ajax. Yes, he absolutely was. Players like Almada will also benefit from playing with better players. Yes, absolutely. You grow, right? If you play with better players or you train with better players, you're going to learn a thing or two. And, I've never trained with Lionel Messi. I've never trained with a Di Maria or a DYBALA or De Paul or Lo Celso or Paredes or anyone else like that. But I think if you train with someone at that level, I think you'll pick something up. You'll learn something. Hey, Gaurav, good morning from down under, all the way from Australia. Good morning. I hope you're having a great start to the day, and thank you for joining us. On a Friday morning for you, Thursday night for us. Ezekiel Barco, once a hottest property has simply vanished. It happens, right? Sometimes it does happen. And someone like a Thiago Almada, for example, I'm not saying it's the case, but if you call up Thiago and let's say he plays a match for Argentina, that's going to be good for his stock. Popularity-wise, maybe he's going to catch the eye of a European team. Maybe it's going to help to make that jump over to Europe. I don't know. All I'm saying is I don't think it's the end of the world if Almada is selected, which he is, and I don't think it's the end of the world if he does play. I really, really don't. Yes, so Acuna, brought that up and then quickly took it off for a second. So Acuna has the offensive quality that could be handy. That I agree with. I absolutely agree with that. I think Acuna is better moving forward than Tagliafico, But Tagliafico has that something to him as well, and he's a very intelligent player. His positioning, more often than not, is spot on. I like both of them. I absolutely like Tagliafico and Acuna. George writes, club performances are not applying to the national team. That's very true. That is very true. This is why we will continue to be underestimated, and I love it. It went back to how it used to be. 1,000%. 1,000%. You look at players that maybe are not performing great at their clubs, they come to Argentina and they just, best players in the world. Best players in the world. Hey, we got Johnny Etta. Hello, Johnny. Thank you for joining. Who writes, Almada is going to be way better than Barcos. I don't see Almada making the final World Cup roster, as there are many key players missing at the moment, like Nicolas Gonzalez. And I agree with that. I don't think Almada will make the World Cup. I've never said that. I don't think anyone's saying that. So yes, fully agree. But I think he has, I think the ceiling is very, very high with him. I think the ceiling is extremely high with Thiago Almada, and very excited. Hopefully, I hope he gets some minutes just to see, what he can do, especially when playing with players of that quality at that level. Be very excited to see that. Very, very excited to see that. Then we get the likes of someone like an Enzo Fernandez, right? On the topic of midfielders and forwards and everything. Enzo Fernandez, one that everyone has been asking for to be included in the national team, is finally in the team. Now, for me, I really think, and let me know what you guys think, please leave a comment, but I think Enzo makes the World Cup, and I think Enzo will probably become one of the substitutes. I don't just think Enzo will get selected and not play. I think Enzo gets selected and ultimately does play. I think Enzo will be a substitute. I think he's going to be the first choice substitute too. I don't know how Scaloni plans on using him. We mentioned that for Benfica, he has played a deeper role at times. With River, certainly played a much more advanced role. So he's shown that he's capable of playing kind of both sides of the pitch. And he's versatile, great on the ball, very smart, very high IQ, and just very good. Just very good. I think he becomes a substitute for us. Let me know what you guys think, though. And then we're going to get to another big name in just a second. But first, Calvin, what's up, buddy? Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. We're just discussing Argentina, the latest list. So Enzo will replace Palacios. Palacios is one that could potentially miss out. He absolutely could potentially miss out. This injury probably could not have come at a worse time for Ezequiel Palacios. It really could not have. And Anthony says Enzo is going to make it in place of Palacios. That seems to be the general consensus as well. And yes, West Ham, I'm getting so caught up talking about all this. It's true. If you guys enjoyed the video, show your support. Hit that like button. We got a lot more coming up. So hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. It's somewhere. I think it's down here somewhere. I think, depending on how you're watching it. Probably down there somewhere. And hit that subscribe button to never miss a thing. And hit the notifications button as well. Foyth is another one. I mean, Foyth, we spoke a little bit about Foyth. I think if Foyth was healthy, he would have been selected for this team, and I think ultimately would have made the World Cup. Now, does he still have a chance of making it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Is it a guarantee? I don't think it is. Like I said, similar to Palacios, this injury to Foyth could not have come at a worse time for him, because he was back on the national team radar. He was back to getting selected. He was playing for Argentina as well. And then, this injury happens. I think Foyth does make it for the mere fact that Molina is essentially the only right back that you could really call a right back in a way, even though he's a right wing back or a modern fullback, if you want to say. Montiel has not been playing for Sevilla, and Foyth could be that second choice for us. If it's not Montiel, it could be Foyth. So Foyth, I think, is still very much in it with a chance to make it to Qatar. Johnny, yes, Enzo makes the World Cup roster 100%. I would be worried if I was Palacios because Enzo is sniffing at the chance. Dude, I don't think Enzo's sniffing. I think Enzo just took a bite out of it just by being included and his start to the season. Anthony, I have a feeling Enzo will be DePaul's backup. Very possible. Again, we don't know how Scaloni's going to use Enzo. We're assuming he's going to use Enzo for sure, right? I think if you have the quality of Enzo, I think you have to use him. But we don't know how, right? We don't know in what capacity. Jishu, knock on wood, Di Maria's back. He played for Juventus in the Champions League. Could have had 2 assists against Benfica had it not been for some missed opportunities. And yes, very, very likely. Very likely. And I think Palacios is one of those players that played very well and won a spot in the team when Scaloni first took over of the national team 4 years ago now. Exactly 4 years ago now. But I think after the pandemic, I think after 2020 or in and around that time, I think that's when Palacios started to lose his spot in the team. That's when we really saw that it was going to be Lo Celso, De Paul, and Paredes in midfield. And, for Palacios, there wasn't much of an opportunity in midfield, not much of a chance up front, obviously, as well. So, although he's played well in the past, I think he's not that high up in the pecking order. Calvin, I watched that match as well. I watched it on repeat. Enzo was solid. Man, Enzo was solid. Very, very solid. I see a question regarding Molina. Molina's probably the Argentine player that Simeone's picking the most between him, Correa, and De Paul. I would have liked for him to maybe stay at Udinese just because I'm not a fan of players making the switch right before the World Cup, especially considering the World Cup is at the start of the season, right? It's in November. It's not your typical June and July tournament. But he's played well for Atletico. Obviously, he's shown what he can do offensively. I'm excited to see how much he could learn in terms of the defending aspect defensively from Simeone, from that Atletico team. So, I'm happy that he joined Atletico. Don't get me wrong. Just that, making the move can be very, very risky, especially like 2 months before the World Cup. That's my main concern there. But let's continue. I love it, by the way. Love the comments. Keep them coming, everybody. Keep them coming. Absolutely enjoying them. You guys have no idea. So let's continue here. We have another comment, and let's get to Enzo to top club. Asks Mauricio. I think eventually it's gonna happen. I don't see Enzo staying too long at Benfica. I really don't. In regards to Foyth, yeah, he was. He absolutely was. I'm not doubting that by any means. And Nico Romero, welcome. Foyth is taking Martinez Cuarta's place. Look, if Foyth can stay healthy, I think so. I think Lucas Martinez Cuarta has slowly losing his place at the World Cup. Calvin, how many spots are available for the World Cup? I mean, at this point, probably 3 or 4 at most. I mean, you have that goalkeeper, that third choice goalkeeper position. You have 1 or 2 spots in the back line, that right back position, and maybe that 4th choice center back. And then you have midfield as well. You have the backup. So you have Alexis McAllister, who's having a very good season. Again, I know I mentioned it earlier. He's flying under the radar. He's playing very well for Brighton. Enzo Fernandez just obviously continues to shine. Palacios is one that's potentially losing his place as well. So there are maybe about 4 spots, maybe 5 that are not, in my opinion, 100% guaranteed. And it remains to be seen if Scaloni is going to take 4 goalkeepers or 3. That remains to be seen as well. This is good. This is a good one. One that we haven't really touched on, and that's Lautaro Martinez. Who's going to be his backup? Who is going to be his backup? Is it going to be Joaquin Correa? Does Scaloni change it up a little bit, change up the formation? What's going to happen with DYBALA? How is DYBALA going to play, or where is DYBALA going to play? Papu Gomez, has DYBALA overtaken Papu Gomez in the pecking order? because more often than not, Papu's been Messi's replacement when Messi hasn't been there. Papu Gomez has started and Papu Gomez has played, but is it more DYBALA now? So that's another issue as well. So who's going to happen? What's going to be the backup? I think it's going to be Alvarez. I think Julian Alvarez is going to be that backup for Lautaro. I'll be honest, nothing against Joaquin Correa, but I would go with Alvarez ahead of Correa. If we're talking about backup, that would be my my choice there. Hey, good comment here. So Angel Correa should be selected ahead of Joaquin Correa. You have Angel Correa as well. Do you play him as a backup to Lautaro? Correa can practically play, anywhere up front, can play on the wings, can play down the middle. He's shown it for Atletico, shown his versatility for Argentina as well. So he's another one. He is certainly another one. I assume Scaloni is thinking Tucu as Lautaro's rotation. It could be. I think it's going to be him or Alvarez. Personally speaking, I would go with Julian. But hey, I'm not Scaloni, right? I'm not the genius that is Lionel Scaloni. Julian Alvarez could give us, he can absolutely surprise us all at the World Cup. I think he's done well with Manchester City in the little time that he's given. Obviously, Haaland is that starter for them. I won't disagree with that. But Alvarez is talented, and the talent is there, and he's showing it. And I think he can surprise a lot of people at the World Cup. I truly think so. Alvarez would be a great backup over Tucu for Lautaro. Hey, could not agree more. Could not agree more with that. And there you go. Another person that prefers Julian. Another person that prefers Julian. Hey, we got a fan favorite. My favorite Argentine player is Alvarez. Still very young. The potential for him is really limitless. It's really limitless, and especially now that he's playing under arguably, or maybe even not arguably, but just the best coach in the world, Pep Guardiola, playing in a competitive league, playing with world-class players, learning from the best. It has to be said, learning from the best at Argentina, and learning from obviously very, very good and world-class players at Manchester City. So he's another one that can surprise a lot of people. Anthony Garcia. McAllister has been playing well for Brighton as the deepest midfielder. Think he should be Paredes' backup ahead of Guido, although they are different types of five. They are. Guido is maybe more of a destroyer, not as good on the ball as McAllister. So maybe it depends on what kind of backup, what kind of substitute Scaloni is looking for. If it's a more, if he's looking for a substitute to Paredes to maybe help keep control of the match, absolutely could be McAllister. If he's looking for more of a, let's say, physical player, could be Guido. Not saying that McAllister is not physical, but maybe that would suit Guido a bit more. So it depends. And I do agree, two very different types of number fives. Calvin asks, I haven't seen much of Roma. How has DYBALA fared? DYBALA's been vintage DYBALA. DYBALA's played very well. Forgetting the goals and the assists aside, put those aside, DYBALA's played very well. And he looks like he's enjoying himself on the pitch, which maybe has not always been the case, specifically in the last year or so. It's very happy to see DYBALA back, playing well, playing under a coach that wanted him, playing under a club that wanted him and really pushed to get him. So it's showing off. It's showing on the pitch. DYBALA's confidence has to be sky high, and he's playing as well as he has ever played, especially at the start of a season. Johnny, it's funny you mentioned this. I just finished recording a Panini video. A Panini video. I opened up 250 stickers. I'm not going to spoil anything in terms of how many Argentine players I got, but you guys are going to want to check it out. And funny enough, I actually have this right here, which is the World Cup Panini Football Collection. And it covers everything from 1970 up until 2010. All the Panini stickers in there, but in book form. So I appreciate the idea. I love the idea. I actually just finished recording it before going live, or actually sometime today. I just finished recording it, so watch out for that video. Continuing. Abul Qasim, McAllister is much better with the ball than Guido. Yes, absolutely is. Absolutely is. And DYBALA did score a crazy good goal, a very good goal. And that goal is on Mundo Albiceleste.com. You can go watch it. And if you haven't already, hit the like button, everybody. Hit that like, jam it, press it. Hit the subscribe button as well. And hit the notifications button because we got a lot of videos coming up. Trust me on that. DYBALA and Messi together should start. You know, we've spoken about this in the past. How does Scaloni do it? And I'm preparing. I'm also working on a Paulo DYBALA video with the national team in terms of statistics, in terms of when he started matches, when he hasn't started matches, how it's going on. You know, what's happening in his career. A little statistic that I'm also going to share in the video. But Paulo DYBALA has played 34 matches for Argentina. 34 matches for Argentina. Paulo DYBALA has only DYBALA has only played 90 minutes in 2 of the 34 matches. DYBALA has only played 90 minutes in 2. So watch out for that video. That video is coming up, fingers crossed, sometime this weekend as well. So let's continue on with some of this. I see a couple of comments in regards to DYBALA here. There you go. Smash that like button. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Alfredo, what about Papu Gomez? No one talks about him. I love Papu Gomez. I think we all love Papu Gomez. He's great. He's a late bloomer. I mentioned this in a previous video. I love him. I just hope that his situation at Sevilla improves. And not just him, but all the Argentine players. They're not having a very good start to the season. But Papu can certainly contribute a lot to the national team. We saw it at the end of last year. We saw it at the start of this year. He's played well. I just mentioned it a couple of minutes ago. He, more often than not, was Messi's backup. When Messi was rested, when Messi wasn't there for whatever reason, Papu Gomez was playing. And he played very well. So, we're here. We are talking about DYBALA and Enzo Fernandez. And good question, good comment. We still got Papu Gomez. We still got the dancing Papu. So we still got a lot of that. There you go. Guru Sevilla. Trust me, I'm a Sevilla fan. I know how solid he is at the back. All right, let's continue. I was seeing some World Cup kits from another nation today, and I'm very happy with ours. Both of them, purple's growing on me, looks great. I have not seen the purple yet in person. As soon as I do, I'm certainly getting my hands on it, and we'll share it with everybody here. I did get some new kits though. If you guys, it's in the YouTube channel. It's on YouTube. Go check it out. These kits here, these 3. Check them out. Check them out. The video is there. Good question, Johnny. Is Papu the new Lavezzi for the team? Yes. We made that comparison a couple of months back, or several months back now. Late last year. Papu, someone that everyone loves on the team, constantly smiling, and a tremendous player. A tremendous player. And you need someone like that. Lavezzi was that in 2014. Papu could be our Lavezzi. Quite simply. Quite simply. Let's continue. Nico Romero. You think Cuti's worried about injuries? He hasn't been the same since last game. Cuti's a warrior. I'm not worried about Romero. I would just like for him to play for, I don't want to say a better club, but a club that maybe has better chances to win some trophies. That's the only thing. I'm not worried about Romero. I don't think he is either. I know he just kind of came back from injury as well, but he's shown that he can bounce back. Every time he's gotten an injury, he's come back and he's played better than he was before the injury. So I'm not worried about him. I am not worried about him. Nicolas Gonzalez. See, we spoke about Gonzalez in a previous video. I think he's underrated. He's grown on me. Nicolas Gonzalez in certain matches is a must. His work rate, you don't see it too often. He literally kills himself on the pitch. The only thing you could say about Nicolas Gonzalez is he should be or could be better in front of goal. He gets himself in great opportunities not a bad dribbler. Defensively helps out and supports a lot. The only thing you could say is, yes, he could be better in front of goal, but I'm a fan of his. I am certainly a fan of Nicolas Gonzalez, and like I said, much needed in many cases. In some of the matches, you will need a Nicolas Gonzalez. In regards to Papu Gomez, here we go. So Papu should have played in an elite club. I mean, he had a very good showing at Atalanta. Sevilla's one of the bigger clubs in Spain. He's just not going through, or the club isn't going through, a great run of results, let's say, to start off the season. But I think he's, I'd rather he play for maybe, I don't even want to say a smaller club, but a club like Sevilla, because they are a big club. So I'd rather he plays for a club like Sevilla and starts, as opposed to going to a major, big, huge club and be on the bench. Although at his age, he's not 24 anymore. So him at Sevilla, I'm more than happy about that. More than happy about that. And there you go, another Nicolas Gonzalez fan. I think this is a bit of a stretch. I think it's a little bit unfair. Alfredo, I know, people were saying that. I heard that in front of goal. But you can't compare. Nicolas Gonzalez is not a number 9. Higuain is. Higuain missed some big chances, let's say. We're not going to talk about it, but, But no, Nicolas Gonzalez is a different kind of player. A very, very different kind of player. And yes, he's pretty fast. He is pretty fast. Absolutely, yeah, he is. Calvin, Gonzalez also gives us an attacker that runs in behind. Most of our strikers are ball to feet, so it could be a different option in attack against teams who leave space in behind. Very stellar observation. Very, very good observation. Yes, in regards to Gonzalez. In regards to Otamendi, Otamendi won every duel against Vlahovic. Man, Otamendi's turning back the clock. Otamendi is turning back the clock, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It's a very different Otamendi than the one that played in his very first World Cup in 2010. A much different one. And you know what? Even in 2014, Otamendi was not selected in 2014 for the World Cup. At the time, I believe he was at Valencia. And before that, he was at Atletico Mineiro, if I'm not mistaken. And he was great at Mineiro and even better at Valencia. He was frustrating to watch if you were the opposition going up against Otamendi. He was so good. Wasn't selected for 2014. Was selected in 2018. Didn't have a bad showing, but you know how 2018 went. And this time around, playing very, very well. So let's continue. Let's continue, and it's absolutely over. Yeah, Higuain's obviously, yes. All right. Let's continue. The NEAT. Our best goalkeepers are Dibu, Ruli, and Musso. All right, back to goalkeepers a little bit. Yeah, okay. Not too bad. Not bad choices. Jambi, I heard you talking about McAllister as a possible replacement for Guido. Remember El Colo being an attacking player. Am I missing something? Don't follow Premier League much. So in regards to McAllister, he's playing a more advanced role, let's say, with Brighton. So that's why, when we were talking about McAllister and we were talking about who could replace who potentially in midfield, we were talking about McAllister, we're talking about Enzo Fernandez, we were talking about, for example, Ezequiel Palacios, who's not part of the team, and we're kind of talking about, well, who could play where, right? Could Fernandez play as a substitute to Paredes? Someone said, well, I see him more as a replacement for De Paul. Others maybe Lo Celso. Same thing for McAllister. McAllister with Brighton has played a more advanced role at times. So we're getting some versatility out of our players, which is always nice to see. Always nice to see. We need a backup, a permanent backup to Lautaro Martinez. I would not disagree with that, and I think Julian Alvarez is slowly becoming that backup. I truly think so. Lautaro's ball holding skills has improved a lot, or so much. Excited for these long balls from Dibu to him, dude. I'm just excited for the World Cup. So do you think we should carry Montiel? He was so good at Copa. I would pick Montiel. I would pick him just not because he doesn't deserve it. I think he does deserve it. Don't get me wrong. I know he's not playing too much at Sevilla, but he has the experience and he has played well in big games. At this point, I think Molina is the starter, and I would start Molina over Montiel, but I would still pick Montiel. I would still pick Montiel. Yeah, that's why we got you covered here on Mundo Albiceleste. We watch everything, we talk about everything. If you're new, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss a single video, a single second of what is coming up. And they've shown it this season. They can really play anywhere in midfield. They have shown that. All right, Janet. Luke raises a good question. Rate the GOAT's performances so far this season, keeping in mind that for PSG, he seems to be more and more turning into a Xavi-like playmaker, and how will that translate? So we haven't spoken, actually, about Lionel Messi. And I think you cannot have an Argentina video and not talk about Lionel Messi, but I'm happy in a way we haven't spoken about him for the mere fact that we have so much to talk about. We've covered so much. So if you're just joining us, we covered practically everything. But in regards to Messi, I think he's very much preserving himself for the World Cup. I think he's watching his movements. I think if his teammates were not as selfish as they have been, Messi could easily have 6, 7, 8 goals in the league this season. If his teammates were not missing the chances that he was creating for them, Messi would easily have over 10 assists this season. I think he's playing great. I agree in terms of he's playing more that Xavi role, but at the same time, we do get that vintage Messi where he makes that run into the penalty area. Like he tries to play that 1-2, makes the run, but he's not getting the ball back. So yes, he's maybe playing that Xavi role for sure, but it's still that vintage Messi. You know, he's still making those runs in. They're not passing him the ball back. That's the only issue. But very, very good question. All right. Exactly. Comparing our squad for the World Cup, it has so much depth around Messi, and we haven't seen that since 2006. You know, in 2010, the depth wasn't the same. 2014, we made the final, but the depth wasn't what we have right now. And 2018 was so unbalanced. Yeah. I absolutely agree with this. Oh, yeah. More goals with Argentina. I agree. I did see this, Calvin. Yeah, so Argentina, in terms of tickets for the World Cup, the demands, boy, are they ever high. And that cannot be a surprise. At all. And he has turned himself into a true number 10. So much talent. I was going through. I don't have the page right now, but I was going through the Panini team for 2006, and wow, yeah, I could probably name off all 23 players. Abondanzieri number 2, Pato number 1, Abondanzieri number 1, Ajala number 2, Sorin 3. I think 4 was Colaccini, 5 was Cambiaso, 6 was Ainse, 7 was Saviola, 8 was Mascherano, 9 was Crespo, 10 was Riquelme, 11 was Tevez, 12 was Leo Franco. Incredible depth so far. 13 was Scaloni, 14, I want to say, was it Kufre? I can't remember number 14, Leandro. Was it Kufre? 15, gosh, was it Gabriel Milito was 15, 16 was Aymar, 17 was Burdisso, or was 18? Yeah, 17 Burdisso, 18 Maxi, 19 Messi, 20 Julio Cruz, 21 was Burdisso, sorry, 22 Lucho Gonzalez, and 23 Ustari. That was a stacked team. That was a stacked team. Nico, we're not gonna. Not that I don't want to answer your question. Don't get me wrong, but we're not gonna talk about that. Not yet. Not knock on wood. I think you understand why. And he was. I agree. I think Colaccini was underrated. I think it was very good when he was at his peak. He was solid. He was absolutely solid. Yeah, that 2016, man. Whew. All right. Yeah, that's again 2006. Again 2006. All right. What are your thoughts on the upcoming games? Just go full strength. So, very good question, and we may as well talk about it before we wrap things up here. Not that I don't enjoy talking to everybody, and I know we haven't done this since I think the Estonia match, but I think Scaloni is gonna test out some players. I think we're gonna get one match at least where we get the full starting 11, but I expect a lot of substitutions in the second half, let's say. I think Scaloni certainly goes with a start, like a good 11. But yeah, I think Enzo Fernandez is going to get a chance. I think Medina or Perez, Nehuan Perez probably get a chance. Alvarez, I think Julian Alvarez starts one of the matches. It's going to be interesting to see what Scaloni does in midfield with McAllister and Fernandez with Enzo. Almada, I think, gets a couple of minutes. It is friendly matches, right? It's not World Cup qualifiers, so it is a friendly match or matches. So I think one of the games we're going to get the full starting 11, maybe even both, but I think we're going to get a lot of substitutions. I think we're going to get a lot of substitutes. No, unfortunately, no one knows. I don't believe anyone knows why Samuel and Zanetti were left out. That's the biggest mysteries of one of the biggest mysteries of Argentina when it comes to World Cup teams. That's 2016. Julio Cruz was underrated. I think he was, he had his seasons where he was good. Maybe not at the same level, or in my opinion, not at the same level as Crespo, for example, but not a bad backup. He and Diego Milito, I think, were underrated, but that was a stacked team. Absolutely stacked. Let's take a look. Yeah, I think they're going to get some minutes. I absolutely think they will get some minutes against both Honduras and Jamaica. And that, I think that just about wraps it up for this video. We spoke about everything. We spoke about DYBALA. We spoke about Messi. We spoke about Thiago Almada. We spoke about the goalkeepers. We spoke about the defenders, the midfielders in depth, the strikers, everything. So hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining. I tried to plan this out a little bit. I put up the post on YouTube about 9 hours ago. It wasn't going to be a last second thing. When that list came out, posted it and said, you know what, we're going live on YouTube. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining. I know it's crazy time zone. Some of you, it's already Friday. Some of you, it's maybe still a Thursday afternoon. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications button. We got a lot of stuff coming up. And if I missed any of your questions or comments, leave a question in the post and click on community. I have the posts. Leave a comment and I'll certainly reply to it there if I missed it. But thank you, everybody, for joining. I will certainly say hello to Seba. Seba is actually on a mini tour of the United States, going from NFL game to NFL game. No, certainly we'll say hi to Seba. Thank you, everybody, once more for watching. And I appreciate it very much, everybody. So thank you, everyone. Take care. Until next time. And hit like, subscribe, all that stuff. Thanks, everybody. Very much appreciated. Take care and be safe, everybody. Bye.